Owed you guys an update on these. Trying to think, a lot of people have asked. This is my first pair of Nicks. These were actually off the ready to ship page back in, what was that, November 2022. If you watch the video I did on these a long time ago, I kind of talked about it. I've been looking at Nicks for a few years, a couple years at least. I was always worried about sizing. Eventually saw these and the size I thought it would be, following the half down from Brannick and up in width that you see a lot of people recommend, and they ended up working out. They've changed quite a bit. I'll try to throw, I mean, I have that old video up, but I'll try to throw an old photo up kind of showing the previous color they had. But basically they were like a, I guess a more of a yellowish tan, and now they're kind of more, I don't know, golden. I've never actually conditioned these, believe it or not. So veg tan in general, including this natural Dublin from Horween. It kind of darkens as it gets exposure to UV light is really what it is. Kind of tans it like a suntan, and that's probably a lot of the darkening, as well as brushing them. So I brush my boots after every wear. So every time these have been worn, before I put them away in the closet, you know, I have a little shelf in there. I will brush them down pretty well. To be fair, I mean, when I've gotten really, you know, nasty scuffs, I'll rub them a lot with my thumb or fingers or hand, you know, palm or something, which is getting some oil from my skin onto them. So I guess you could call that a conditioner, and I mean, not really. And then this boot, I don't know what you'd say like cow milk does, but I spilled, bringing in some milk from Costco, the fucking thing was leaking, and I didn't realize that. I got in the house and these were completely, the whole vamp had been covered in milk. I was pretty horrified because I thought it was going to stain them, being veg tan, and amazingly enough, they dried, and you never know. I wiped them down with a wet, soft towel, and I actually had to kind of scrub off some milk stains after I noticed the next like few weeks, find these little milk spots from when it had splattered all over them, and those I wiped off. And I should say, these sole edges are not untouched. I've done multiple conditionings of VSC, Venetian shoe cream. So I've applied many times to like kind of like almost like an edge dressing, mostly because as the wear gets up here, it's starting to happen again. You see on the toe here, you can start to see more of the scratching up, and then it kind of starts to look ugly. So then I'll give it a good coating. I might have actually done, I'm trying to think, I think I did one time a coat of Smith's on these sole edges too. Never Obenoffs, but, oh, there's the bottom, by the way. So the heel, you know, the typical, these quabogs are like bulletproof. There's a little bit of wear on the edge a little bit, but the leather soles, obviously, as you'd expect, wear quite quickly. There's a couple little bits of thread that haven't worn completely off, like crossing, but most of them are just these nubs. If you look closely, it's just all nubs. And there used to be, you could see kind of from where they use the machine that does the stitch down. I'm trying to remember the name of it. But they all have those old machines. You can see like cobblers usually have them too. It looks like it dents the leather for whatever reason when they stitch it. Obviously there used to be dents all the way around there, but it's actually worn off smooth now from wear. No surprise, leather wears very quickly. Same deal with this pair. Heel is in, just would say new shape, but it's fine. Like there's no significant wear. You can see a little bit of wear pattern, but it's fine. And then the leather has taken quite a bit of wear. There's some thicker stitches still left right there for whatever reason. But these, as an example, are just worn down to nubs. But I think that nub kind of holds it from separating. You do start to see, this one's not as bad. One of these, you could start to see it like splitting between the two layers almost as it, this is where it's the worst. I mean, it's not bad, but if you look closely right there, you can see the line where it kind of like cracks, and it's actually separate. If I bend the boot, you can see it more. Kind of separates. It's just, you know, I guess it's more obvious with leather versus a rubber maybe, or maybe it's more of an issue with leather because it doesn't bond well together versus leather and rubber. I don't know exactly. The patina on them is pretty phenomenal, but that's really just because it's natural Dublin. That's nothing I'm doing. I mean, maybe I have a unique coloring because I didn't put any conditioner on it yet. It's definitely a little bit lighter here. It's not as obvious, at least on the screen I'm filming, but it's not as dark here basically because the pant leg covers, whereas the vamp is definitely a richer color because it's getting exposure to UV light from the sun. There's different creasing pattern on this boot. See a little bit of a, sorry, let the camera focus. If it can. There's a little more of a crease here, and then that one has kind of a normal 67 crease. This one is a little bit more interesting. There's like multiple different crease rows. I'll just tell you right now, I ordered another pair when Nick's decided to bring it back. I had to be a man of my word. I always told him they need to bring natural Dublin back because it's freaking epic. One of the coolest leathers there is. Probably the coolest. My unsung engineers, I need to do a video on those. You've seen pictures. Those are also natural Dublin. It's just phenomenal. This one you can see this more. It's definitely light. You see how it's lighter here versus down here. It's darker. I don't know if I'll ever condition these, honestly. I'm not really hard on my boots, and I treat these a little bit nicer because of the leather sole. I actually have been trying not to wear them as much because I walk the dog, and most of that walking, at least during the winter, was on tarmac and, you know, cement on the streets, and it seems like it just wears the sole down real fast. So I kind of wasn't wearing them as much, but then I put them back in the rotation recently after I saw that video, or the posting of them having them. I kind of started wearing them the last couple weeks. They're really dope. I think what it was is I was like, man, I'm gonna have to get these resold sooner because of the leather. And now that I have another pair coming, I'm like, I have another option. So it kind of made me feel like, well, I can wear these out more. I think actually what I'm gonna really do, I might either send it away to a cobbler or unsung or something. I think I'm gonna see if maybe I could just kind of bide my time, get like one of those rubber things. I think Dale from Dale's Leather Works doesn't like them anymore, but just like the thin leather cover, and just kind of glue it on there and wear them a while and see how it goes. Because I don't really want to, I'm not going to get these redone by Nick's because they'll just, when they do the machine stitching, it's going to put a bunch of new holes and it's going to look awful on a nice dressier leather like this. It's not like a work boot with the Dublin, so I would have to pay a lot more money to have a hand stitch, which I'll do eventually with like unsung. You pay more money and they'll manually run the awl through and keep the same holes. So whenever the point that I have to get them resold, I'll do that. And I think I'll keep these leather, especially with what I've got. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing with the other one, but I'll tell you that's not leather. So my new pair that I got coming is not a leather sole again. So these I'll get done with some type of heavy duty, maybe I'm not sure what unsung has. Something maybe that's more durable than this, some of that oak bark tan stuff out of Germany. The name's escaping me, the company that shut down, that reopened. Maybe that stuff's more durable. I don't know. Oh, and you probably saw this a long time ago. I changed these laces out over a year ago. These are, I don't even remember what they were called. I have another video or short, I think it was a short I did about them. They're from Guarded Goods. Some Italian leather, I think, but they were a brown. They're really thick too. They're kind of a pain initially to use because they didn't really go hook. They were having trouble with the hooks. But I'm like, you know what? It kind of looks, it's not the same leather, but it kind of looks like Dublin. And I was like, it might give it like a monotone look, and I threw them in and thought it looked awesome. And that's where they go. So forget the black laces on this pair. Monotone vibes. Yeah, this is still probably my favorite pair. We'll see what happens when I get the next one in Dublin from Nick's. See if it competes, but This is a really dope pair. Even when they get little dings and stuff, it just looks cool. Rub it with your thumb, brush it, and then you just got like, you get little dark marks, but it's cool looking. I did have, I think the worst was on this toe, and I literally, this happened, I think, a week after I got them. No, it's not that toe. See, I can't even tell. Yeah, so I was moving the fence we have around our pool, basically, to do some cleanup, like a week after I got them in the winter, and I hit the metal. It's kind of like a gouge, but I, did my, like I said, I rubbed this one. I actually may have put a little bit of Venetian shoe cream on my thumbnail and kind of pressed it into the line to make it darker, I guess, so it wasn't obvious, to try to hide it, I guess. Didn't really work, but you rub it with your thumb and kind of don't really matter. I've gotten some scrapes on it. The dog's nails, you can't see in the light. It's really good, actually. It's like invisible, but there were a couple really deep gouges from my dog's paws when he like lurched away from between my legs and to basically bark at another dog, and it left some nasty gouges. But like I said, you just rub it really aggressively with your thumb just to get that skin oil in it, and then brushed it for a bit, and I can only see it at certain angles. So it's pretty durable leather as far as like it's not quite to like the level of Chrome XL, which I always talk about has like a healing. Chrome XL, you get like a nasty scratch. You rub that pretty hard with your thumb and brush it, and you would almost never know it existed. Throw a little VSC on a nasty scrape on Chrome XL and it's gone. That stuff's like really good at healing. But for a veg tan, this stuff's pretty impressive. Typical Horween. I think they make the best stuff. Yeah, that was a bit of a ramble. Later.